We'll move on to the special order of the day. The 2023 State of the County, delivered by our County Executive Edwin Day. I'd just like to say a few words and welcome him here today. And I must say that no one ever brings the cameras out for me when I speak. So it's good to be the County Executive. But anyway, we've been working very well together. We're kind of due for an argument soon. I don't know. It's been too long. But our county is in very good shape. You'll hear from him. Financially, we're light years ahead of where we were. And that makes it a lot easier to govern together when the coffers are full. So I think you'll hear about that tonight. So without further ado, we'd like to recognize County Executive Edwin Day.
Good evening, Rockland, members of the legislature, our elected officials, county employees, everyone else who's joining us for the 2023 State of the County. I also want to express the same sentiment that we heard from a number of legislators here. Our sorrows about the horrific incident that happened on Lake Street in Spring Valley and the loss of 5 fellow Rocklanders is a tragedy beyond belief. And I just want to acknowledge that today. I'm very proud to hold this year's address once again inside the chambers of the county legislature, and would like to give a big thank you to the legislators, along with everyone else here, for joining me this evening, including those tuning in virtually. We also want to acknowledge News 12 for a live feed for this online event. Former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell once said, "There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and most of all, learning from failure." That quote speaks volumes exactly how we reached this moment today. When I first was elected as your county executive in 2014, we were the most fiscally stressed county in the entire state of New York, with a $138 million deficit. Our hard work brought Rockland back to life from the brink of bankruptcy. When I say we, I'm referring to the dedicated employees in this administration who rebuilt Rockland from rock bottom, along with our county legislature. Without a doubt, the road at times has been rocky, but we have worked together to get this done. To all our employees, I want you to know how much I value your dedication, commitment to mission, and serving the people of Rockland County. Thanks to our collective hard work, the state of our county is stronger than ever before. We have literally transformed this county from worst to first among the New York 7 fiscally strongest counties of the 57 in New York City, with a rainy day surplus shielding us from crisis, which everybody is seeing unfold in front of us, with the markets being where they are and inflation spiking. This has given us an opportunity during tough times to increase funding to our nonprofits, continuing to waive our bus fare for riders since early in the pandemic, distributing another $3 million this year to agencies providing vital services to our seniors, and providing more grants to small business. Take on needed infrastructure improvements like the Demarest Dam Rehabilitation Project and the revitalization of our Pomona complex. We are cracking down on drivers putting children at risk with a new safety initiative equipping school buses with stop-arm cameras that will be followed up with a $250 minimum fine if you pass a school bus. I will not tolerate endangering children. And most importantly, we are tackling taxes for families who are struggling now more than ever with record-breaking inflation and high gas prices. Obviously, local government has no control over this, but we are going to do everything we can do to make things better, as we have done. With the help of our legislature, we once again did not raise property taxes in 2023. We repealed the energy tax, saving families $12 million annually, equivalent to an 8.4% county property tax cut. And that also went to renters who pay their own power. They also benefit from that act. And we opted into 2 New York State bills to expand and give seniors and volunteer first responders property tax deductions. And this is all while keeping our staffing at 16% level lower than where it stood when I first took office. This is only a fraction of what this administration has accomplished for our constituents. But our success is not final. It is something we must work to achieve every single day, which is why we are not stopping nor we're not slowing down. In fact, quite the opposite. I want our residents to know, the people we are sworn to serve, we see your struggles, we hear your heartbreak. You need a reprieve from the sky-high costs that won't quit, and I pledge to find more ways to offset those costs for you and your family. And I look to my partners in the legislature, just like this last budget, to help me do it again. These offsets are also vital to weathering any storm that comes our way. Regardless about how one feels about the Palisades Center Mall, it is a major tax revenue driver for the town of Clarkstown, the school district, and the county of Rockland. According to the most recent economic study from New York State, tourism generated $422 million in direct sales within Rockland, saving the average household $556 in yearly taxes to make up that revenue. As one of our premier tourist destinations, we know the Palisades Center is one of the major attractions bringing in that outside revenue. We understand the gravity of the situation as it has been reported. Rest assured, families, we will take every action necessary to ensure as best as we can minimize impact should anything not go well with that particular situation. With that in mind, we are continuing to maximize the benefits of tourism. This year, we once again awarded $278,000 in grants to local organizations this year to promote their events to those outside of this county and attract more visitors who stay and spend their money, pay for our services right here in Rockland County. We also launched a new series of workshops to show our local businesses how to attract visitors and maximize their promotions in addition to a new tourism website. Tourism creates jobs, it strengthens the economy, and contributes to infrastructure development. It allows us to do a lot more than you would think. And it is our duty to support this vital economic driver. We're also making sure we spend every single cent of the $63 million in American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, funding appropriately. It is in just this last year, we distributed millions in ARPA grants to small businesses, restaurants, and food pantries to help them with the financial repercussions of the pandemic. We are continuing to master the art of working smarter, saving time and resources. Just last year, our purchasing division enrolled in a new supplier evaluation tool called Procurated, comparable to Yelp and TripAdvisor for public procurement. Prior to this, the only information we would receive for potential vendors was based on references that, was submitted by the vendors themselves. We could say that they maybe were not always very accurate. But this translated into making multi-million-dollar decisions with little or no independent information. That, folks, is unacceptable. And I want to thank Paul Brennan for his efforts on this. But thanks to this site, we now have an access to a review database for vendors to make more informed purchasing decisions for the people we serve. We all know that you're only as strong as your team, and why we'll focus on developing the people in this administration. Our Department of Personnel created a management enrichment program to prepare managers for potential advancement opportunities and hone the management and talent development skills of employees identified as future leaders of this organization. By the end of this year, 90 employees will have graduated from this new Emerging Leaders Training, which ensures that this county is in good hands for years to come. This is in addition to our 5th Lead Academy class wrapping up, which provides professional development to employees on everything from civil service and county operations to leadership skills. When the current class is complete, over 200 employees will have completed this course. Tonight, I personally invited our first emerging leaders class. That's how much faith I have in this effort. So we can give the future leaders of our county the round of applause they deserve for everything they do. We would like to see those emerging leaders. Could you stand up real quick, please? Don't be shy. Thank you very much. The next group of individuals I'm about to highlight also deserve your applause. I'm referring to the men and women who voluntarily risk their lives in our fire departments and emergency medical services agencies. As we know, agencies have a hard time recruiting to fill these roles, and for good reason. It's a tough job, and it's tougher if you're a volunteer. As our way of saying thank you, I'm proud to announce our Heroes College Tuition Program is officially underway. This program will reimburse volunteer first responders for up to $6,000 annually towards their tuition in exchange for the service to their county. Our Office of Fire and Emergency Services also is developing new training courses and programs and constructing a new fire operations building to make sure our volunteers are prepared for any and all emergencies. This includes purchasing a new training simulator to teach firefighters the warning signs of a flashover, which when an entire room ignites into flames, becoming fully engulfed. The odds of a firefighter escaping a flashover alive are slim, which is why it is crucial for them to know the warning signs so they can get out immediately when this new simulator will help do exactly that. To our first responders, know that we appreciate all that you do, and this is just one more way of our saying thank you as a county. We always are looking to do more for our local veterans. And the fact is that we handled a 60% increase in claims just last year. Victories by a veteran services agency include a veteran who went from receiving nothing for 2 decades to getting nearly $3,000 a month in financial assistance. Another veteran on the brink of eviction was found permanent housing and now also receives nearly $2,000 a month in compensation. We will never stop fighting for those heroes who risked everything for the liberties that we enjoy. That is what Rockland County is all about. On top of protecting our people, we're doing more to protect something else that's very special, our environment, and guide Rockland towards a greener future. This county is proudly ranked number 15 of all local governments nationwide by the Environmental Protection Agency for utilizing 100% U.S.-generated wind electricity, number 15 in the entire nation. And certainly this is a great feat, there's no question about it, but this is only just the beginning. My administration just launched Rockland Sustainability Project. Under this initiative, almost 24 departments are working together on generating a long-term plan to improve the county's ranking in the New York State Climate Smart Communities and Clean Energy Communities program. I know Georgia's going to get this right. The more milestones we achieve in these programs, the more grant funding we're eligible for. It's a simple matter of math, ultimately opening the door for more green investments without something very important, without impacting your pocketbook, our local taxpayers. I'm pleased to let everyone know we are in the process of purchasing 3 properties under our open space acquisition program, saving 26 acres from development. But we see the value not in just open space, but also, believe it or not, in outdoor activities. It is a fact that spending time outside has a positive impact on mental health, reducing symptoms of depression, anxiety, stress, and it can even improve memory and concentration. When the pandemic hit and everything was locked down, those outdoor spaces in parks and playgrounds became the only respite we had, and that's what we discovered. But sadly, the crisis only underscored the disparity that exists when it comes to access to outdoor recreation in some of our communities. And we saw the repercussions of this as mental health issues increased throughout COVID lockdowns. So we're using some of our ARPA funding to ensure that all of our families can enjoy the outdoors and reap the health benefits that it provides. We've awarded $7 million in grants to municipalities and nonprofits for over 24 projects for parks, playgrounds, and gardens all across Rockland County. We're also conducting a feasibility study for a walk and bike path that will stretch from Palisades to Stony Point. Once all these projects are complete, the people of Rockland will feel even prouder to call this county home. Not only will our natural beauty be elevated to an all-new level, but these improvements will benefit Rocklanders for generations to come. I am committed to making investments today that benefit tomorrow, ensuring that Rockland County thrives. Part of that promise means giving our youth, the future workforce of this county, all the tools they need for success. It is for that reason I'm happy to announce that this year we are expanding our youth employment program. For over 20 years, this Youth Bureau program has placed thousands of young people in jobs where they gain professional skills to prepare them for some of life's major hurdles. And as we know as adults, they're out there. Just last year, we employed more than 250 people who worked over 35,000 hours. With ARPA funding, we are piloting an expansion of this program to be year-round and open to ages 14 to 24. Expanding this program will help more young people prepare them for the real world that does await them. We've already seen a positive return on investment for similar youth programs. In fact, this week, one of Rockland's Conservation and Service Corps members, Charity Dixon, is being nationally recognized at the Corps Network Conference in Washington, D.C. It's the reason why she's not here today. But we're very proud of Charity. This Haverstraw resident is among just 5 recipients of this prestigious award and a stellar example of why programs like these are just so important. We remind everyone that enrollment for this program is underway and have materials available if you know anyone who is interested. It is estimated that 1 in 25 Americans lives with a serious mental illness, and even worse, 1 in 5 children, either currently or at some point during their young lives, have had serious, debilitating mental issues. Rest assured, families of Rockland, more help is on the way. We've been able to secure a very positive situation for Rockland County since the state had walked away from so many efforts here when it came to mental health back in about 2013. A brand new New York State-funded intensive crisis stabilization center for the entire Hudson Valley region. Our Department of Mental Health is overseeing the project, which once up and running will help anyone experiencing a behavioral health crisis. We are also using ARPA funding to help more children by expanding our children's care team during school hours. The Children's Care Team is a mobile unit helping kids up to age 21, along with their family, work through behavioral and emotional challenges for up to 8 weeks. Last year, nearly 200 people utilized this program for the full 8 weeks we provide, which I remind families at home is absolutely free. Why do we provide it for free? Because mental health care is not a luxury. It should be available to all who need it, especially our children. Some ask why I'm so passionate about this, and it's for a very simple reason. I'm a PTA Life Award winner. I spent many years in PTA trying to improve the lot of our children in schools. Our children deserve the best we can get them, which is why, on top of providing more resources for their mental health, we are also focused on their physical health as well, boosting efforts to increase vaccinations. Early last year, the World Health Organization and UNICEF sounded an alarm, a very scary alarm, about the largest sustained decline in childhood vaccinations in 30 years, some of which is attributed to containment measures, supply chain issues caused by COVID, and just some questions about how the vaccines worked during the COVID era. These organizations report 25 million children worldwide missed 1 or more doses of their routine vaccinations in 2021, leaving a growing number of children at risk of developing devastating but entirely preventable diseases. Rockland County is not immune to vaccine hesitancy. In fact, it's exactly what led to the measles crisis and we dealt with, and also a case of a paralytic polio which surfaced in a resident from last year. Since the paralytic polio case surfaced, Rockland took action. We have administered about 18,000 polio vaccines in this county. While that's certainly a high number of doses, we have to understand it will take time for these vaccinations to be completed because they're a multi-year 4-dose vaccine. But we have not had one more case of polio since that incident happened, and we're going to continue going on this effort. This is why it is crucial for schools and New York State Education Department to maintain and enforce these required vaccinations, and we have been working with them. It is also why a health department is actively working to increase vaccination rates in Rockland by working with the CDC and the State Department of Health to perform daycare and school audits. As this responsibility falls on families as well, because children from newborn to 4 do not go to school yet, as a rule. And it's the families that have to trust their pediatricians and other providers to make sure they do get on their schedule of shots. Our health department is having ongoing conversations with local health providers, community organizations, and religious leaders which families trust to boost immunizations. We have messaged out much in various languages to get the word out to families. We have declared war on polio here in Rockland County. We're not going to stand our ground. We're going to kill it here and put an end to polio forever. Polio is a devious disease. You could have it and not even know it. Half the people do, and you can transmit it at times. Think about you having that polio, going home or see me in a family event, and some 2-year-old catching polio from you. I implore our families, we have to do the right thing here. Please get your children vaccinated for the greater good of the community and for the very good of your family. Rockland is a beautiful county, one that I am very proud to call home. But even a county as beautiful as ours always has room for improvement, which is why we are committed to increasing our public outreach surrounding hate and discrimination, along with bolstering partnerships in New York State and the federal government. Under this initiative, we launched the very first Human Rights Breakfast with the New York State Division of Human Rights Commissioner and Regional Director as guest speakers. They were very impressed with how this played out here in Rockland. And we were humbled to have over 100 attendees that included nonprofits, community and religious leaders, and local elected officials. In fact, we believe the highly attended event signals this community as a whole recognizes that more needs to be done in regards to protecting human rights. The event was a productive start to discussions on bridging the gaps dividing our diverse families in Rockland County. We have many new initiatives underway that are being worked on behind the scenes, and while it's too early to publicize some of the initiatives, I can say they build on these efforts and conversations. But I remind everyone here and also at home, this is not an issue that can be defeated by a top-down approach. It can only be solved by the ground up, by a community united. So I ask everyone one simple thing: do your part. And when necessary, use your voice. Stop hate in its tracks and intolerance. Same thing. Stop it immediately. With our darkest financial days behind us, as I mentioned earlier, I am laser focused on investing in today for a better tomorrow. But a better tomorrow requires tackling one of the most pressing challenges we are facing as a county: irresponsible development and illegal housing. Last year, our Department of Consumer Protection investigated 685 complaints, a 50% increase from the year prior. Those investigations resulted in 142 prosecutions for unlicensed contractors and $88,000 returned to homeowners. That's up 80% from 2021. Our Rockland Codes Initiative Investigations Unit, or RCI, responded to over 1,500 complaints, issued over 53,000 violations, and collected $130,000 in fines last year. As for our Office of Building and Code, since launching last year, we issued about 7,500 violations and levied $250,000 in fines to property owners in Spring Valley at the direction of the state of New York. And when the County of Rockland was ordered by the state to enforce the uniform code in the Village of Spring Valley, a first-ever initiative in this state. I pledged then that people will come before profit, plain and simple. And we would do whatever is necessary to protect the health, safety of village residents, visitors, and first responders. But all the enforcement we are doing is only a Band-Aid to the real issue. We all know the problems continue if we don't solve what's causing them in the first place. It comes down to supply, demand, and strict compliance with the law. We don't have the housing stock needed to drive down home and apartment prices, which is leading to some of these residents living in these conditions. And new development is often resisted. This is not an easy problem to solve. Let's not kid ourselves. The fact is, it'll be one of the toughest. But I've never been one to back down from a difficult challenge, and I ask you all to join me. If we can rescue this county from the brink of bankruptcy, we can find a way to make it affordable for all. And when I say all, I mean everyone, our essential workers, our teachers, our first responders, all of whom are having a hard time affording a house in this county. And we've started the ball rolling already. Our Office of Community Development is partnering with the Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress and local municipalities to conduct the county's first ever comprehensive community and affordable housing needs assessment. We will utilize the data that has been gleaned by our Rockland's Codes Investigation Unit with their efforts and their registration of apartments. This study of the county's housing needs and challenges will help us determine what funding is available and the best path forward to develop affordable workforce housing. We're also planning the county's first ever housing forum on April 21st. This day-long event will bring major stakeholders like developers, lenders, social services, HUD, and more, all together to sit down and figure out how do we work together to overcome the hurdles of our housing challenges. I ask our families at home to be patient. This is a problem that obviously has been around a long time. It took a while to get to where we are, and it's going to take a while to get to where we want to be. But think about how far we came in the last 9 years. I believe strongly we can do anything we put our minds to. Give me the opportunity to do more for you, the families I choose every day and with every breath I take to serve. This is an issue close to my heart because I firmly believe safe and affordable housing is a human right, one that should not be limited to the highest income brackets. I call on my partners in all levels of government and our county legislature to work with me and my administration to knock down these financial barriers for our families once and for all. As we wrap up, I want everyone to know I made a concerted effort to make the state of the county briefer than the past years. I do listen. Skip Fazzetti is the loudest voice I heard. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Skip. Well, I didn't mention every department until now, or department head by name. I want to underscore there is no I in team, especially when it comes to our team. From sheriffs and facilities to audit to insurance, every department and every person in our administration plays a vital role in this county's operations and its success. I am humbled knowing I can count on all of you, our dedicated employees, to rise to the occasion. Why? Because you already have, over and over and over again. You've accomplished more than ever thought possible. We made tough choices and sacrifices to revive and rescue Rockland. But our work is just beginning. This is when the real change starts because we've turned the corner. We have an opportunity to deliver more now for the residents that we serve more than ever before. So I ask all of you, our employees, department heads, commissioners, and the legislature, 3 simple words: stand with me. Let's work together and give our families even more reasons to be proud of this administration and of county government as a whole. Yes, the best is yet to come. In closing, let us have a good thought and a prayer for our military, both securing our freedom and defending our liberty. Let us not forget our everyday local heroes, our cops, our volunteer firefighters and emergency medical personnel and auxiliary police for their efforts in keeping us safe. May God bless you all. May God bless Rockland. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you for being here.
thank you, Ed. I can't even find anything to argue with in all of that. But thank you for coming and giving us the story tonight.